Alright, high definition video. Yeah, using the high definition camera, which I really don't like. You know, they're nicer cameras, but I just don't like the aspect ratio. And I mean, I don't like the wider screen thing. Make more sense to have bigger, longer screens. You know, but anyway, yeah, I also don't like the file size, and I don't like what else? Other stuff I don't like. What else is there? Something else important. Well, it doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, they can't. You know, the focal length sucks. You know, it's too close for walk and talk style videos. So anyway, unless you got really long arms, you know, it'd be good for chimpanzees. Maybe that's the plan. The future will belong to the chimpanzees or something. Anyway, ooh, high definition, lichen on tree. Look, lichen. Look at that. Ooh, high definition. Anyway, somebody made some comment. That's why I'm doing this on the last video, like, you know, requesting high definition videos, and I really don't see the point in it, so I'm just mocking it in a way. But anyway, yeah, after I post an inmendham video, just to sort of link to a couple of videos I did in response to Nick, the old modern mystic, the old modern mystic, whatever. You know, now and then he still does do a video about something besides the economy, and you know, they're good videos. So anyway, I got a couple of those on the website. Just thought I would point it out, that you know, how the brain works, kind of stuff. And yeah, it's good stuff. So I guess, what I will talk about now, I mean, there's two videos I saw. Nobody's making much in the way of anything useful in terms of videos. But anyway, some racist guy made a video, you know, griping about how the anti-racists, whatever, are using, like, whatever, the race and feminist and communist arguments against the ethalist. Like, you know, it's misogynist to want to end the world. You know, it is kind of so imbecilic to be arguing against people who are trying to, you know, kill the DNA molecule, and then to argue that way, and then to argue almost from the fact that, yeah, they're almost like they are denying the fact that the DNA molecule is responsible for this vice in the first place. I mean, they created these differences between men and women and between racial groups, and they, you know, so their gripe should be with the DNA. I mean, I think it's, you know, obviously I'm on the side where we're intelligent beings. We don't have to take our marching orders from a DNA molecule. So, you know, yeah. So that's a stupid argument. But the underlying argument is that why should we take any orders from the DNA? Not only should we not pay attention to the DNA when it says love my own kids more than somebody else's, or love my nation more than somebody else's, or love my race more than somebody else's, we shouldn't listen to the DNA when it says anything at all, because the DNA molecule is dumb. And so the whole life mission is just as corrupt. It's just as pointless and stupid. So you shouldn't listen to it when it suggests you should impose on the next generation. Because imposing sucks. So anyway, moving right along, to be serious. Another one of these classic to be serious videos. I mean, it's just got, it's the same old routine. These veiled innuendos that somebody else on YouTube, we're not going to mention any names, is somehow doing it all wrong, and her kind is doing it all right. And it's just such a crock of shit. You know, somehow, well, if you haven't got a bunch of Wikipedia links and links to Scientific America, you can't talk about that subject, because only those people know what they're talking about. I mean, come on. You know, Darwin published. And, he didn't have a whole bunch of references to what Dr. Hinklebinkle was thinking. He didn't bother with any of that shit. He just pointed out what he's observed, mostly in the breeding of pigeons and on the Galapagos Islands. I mean, that was the substance of his argument, was built out of personal observation. So that's kind of bogus that he has to have some sort of references. Should he provide a reference to the conductor of the train he rode on? I mean, come on, silly people. Arguments are arguments. Some people make entire arguments defending what they're saying. And in their argument, there's nowhere does it say something like, Dr. Who and Sue says so. Now, in some arguments, I might reference a supporting bit of scientific theory. Like I might argue about evolution, and I'll bring up Gould, has come up a lot lately. Now, to tell you the truth, I didn't care much for Gould, because, not because he said something that was really stupid, but because he was a bit of a showman, and he really fed into this whole controversy that he was somehow rewriting Darwin. That he wasn't just augmenting the theory of evolution, that he was in essence rewriting the theory of evolution. And, creationists used Gould to essentially say Darwin was wrong. And he kind of let that go on because I think he liked the idea that his contribution was big and huge and magnificent, when, it was subtle and interesting, but not terribly earth-shattering. And the contribution was basically this idea that evolution, and I think it's an idea that Darwin was pretty close to, that evolution takes place in small populations, like on the Galapagos, where a small population of one pregnant egg-carrying iguana lands on an island. They inbreed for a few hundred years, and they, through that inbreeding, create all kinds of deformity, errors. And those errors are the fruit for a new lifestyle. And so a terrestrial lizard becomes aquatic through that process because of that extensive inbreeding. That narrowed genetic pool. And so you have a punctuated bit of evolution where you have a huge amount of diversity in a short period of time because you have a small population and there's no dampening effect. I've used this argument that in large populations, any aberration, any good errors, let's call them, any advancements in evolution, unfortunately, are going to get dampened out of existence because of the depth of the gene pool. So if you're breeding in a gene pool of 1 million people, your oddity has less chance of surviving the dulling effect of the barrage of that Borg attempting to ununique you. Okay, it's going to kill that uniqueness. And if the population is half that big, there's half the effect, half the big, half the effect. So obviously, the lower the breeding population that you're connected to, the more powerful your genetic deviation will be, the more potentially survivable it will be. So anyway, I don't want to get into a whole bunch of science, but there's an argument. You see, there's a theory. It's presented. The supporting argumentation is presented. So there's basically a postulate, a premise, as for Darwin's hamster, a few more premises. They're tied together and presented as a logical, cohesive argument. This is why it happened this way. Now, your obligation, if you don't like what's being stated, is to explain how that somehow didn't happen in nature. How there's some evidence somewhere that says, no, it didn't happen that way. This is the way it happened. This theory is much more sensible, so you present your theory. That's how it works. You don't just step up and say, well, Dr. Hoogenfug says something else. Well, great, you can do that, but why is it somebody who's presented the theory's obligation to go research Dr. Hegeblug? That's not his obligation. It's your obligation to explain why it's relevant. You know, I mean, you have to do some of the legwork. You know, you can't just cite a reference, an authority, and say I've completed my job. God says you're wrong. The Holy Bible says you're wrong. I mean, that's essentially all you're doing, is resorting to some authority and saying, I don't have to go any further. I don't have to make an actual argument. Well, you do. I wonder if this camera zoomed. No, it looks like it's quite adequate. You have to remember not to touch the back of these minnows, because all kinds of shit happens. There's a red button on the back too. A big red button. Ooh. Yeah, maybe I can modify it. Doo-doot. A little sound goes off. Ba-doop. It all just ba-doops out of existence. Ba-boop. 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 Anyway, we're coming for you. Anyway, let's do some lovely HDing here. Preposterous mansion house over there. Just preposterous. Preposterously opulent, excessive, gluttonous, preposterous waste of human labor could have been devoted to the fine purpose of keeping my electricity running, but instead it was wasted. So one little tiny clan of silly monkey humans could sit there and gratuitously waste labor, indulging their own little whatever proclivities. But that's a whole different subject. So anyway, yeah, the point is here, okay, so you got this Hannibal Barca, you got all these people whining about the state of argumentation, whining about the tone of it. It's just such a pile of crap. Oh, I said crap. Whew. I mean, come on. There's all kinds of videos being made here. And in my own videos, there's at least 50-50. I mean, if you don't like swearing, there's videos that don't have swearing in them. Argue with one of those. I mean, I've got over 3,000 videos. Obviously, there's likely to be some redundancy there. And you can find the argument in the tone of voice that pleases you. I mean, this is just so stupid. Well, it's not stupid, it's predictable. This is what people do when they can't argue with the argument. They just argue with the messenger. You know, they shoot him. You know, they throw horse shit at him. Don't you be bringing me that bill. Is that what they did in the old days when the bill came? You know, the guy on a horse showed up with his bill. And they just, you know, fuck you. You're not bringing me that message. And in a way, that's sort of what I'm doing. I'm bringing the bill of accountability. I'm attempting to impose the burden of defending your existence on these people, and they don't like that. Don't oblige me to defend the magnificent human monkey. Yeah, everybody knows it's magnificent and super. Everybody knows we're on a phantasmagorical, wonderful submarine ride. Everybody just knows it. Yeah, right. Well, I don't know it. So, and I'm just gonna do the Empress is not wearing her girdle. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna point it out. There's all kinds of stuff flapping all over the place. And they ain't fooling me. You ain't fooling me with your bullshit. Okay? I'm seeing shit I shouldn't be seeing in you people. And you gotta fix that. Your argument sucks. So do better, or I win. It's just the way it goes. Hey, yay for somebody. They fixed it. Bravo, good citizen. You should have moved all this crap though, good citizen. Whoever you were. Yes, you should have. Oh, bad back. Oh, should have moved that crap so it doesn't reclog. But look at that. Nicely done, citizen. Yes. Very well done, citizen. Well, it's a little shaky, but yeah, it's a little weak there. Must have been kind of a weak citizen. But it's okay. Kept my feet dry. So, 3 cheers for the good citizen. Yep. Hip hip hooray, hip hooray, hip hooray. Okay, there, 3 cheers. Anyway, moving on. See if we have any spectacular last little HD scenic here. All right, get to my business. Doing my business. It's my. Oh, that's pretty good down there. Stream and such. My handy style man business. Yeah. Anyway. Hi ho, hi ho. And such. So anyway, I make arguments on the internet. Really, it isn't that complicated. You can't take a few nasty words and a little bit of ridicule and really, yeah, go somewhere else. Because it's reality. And you can make your counter argument. No one's stopping you. No one's shutting you up. They're just obliging it to be coherent and relevant. So try to meet those standards and you'll do just fine. Wet here. It is wet. So yeah, I get across the stream okay, but I can't get across the yard. Anyway, till next time and such.